Hey, I'm Jonathan Braylock,
I'm Luke Job.
And I'm Sergio.
and this is the Floor Play. Guys, welcome to another episode of the Floor Play podcast. We are recapping season 4 of The Floor on Fox, hosted by Rob Lowe. All of us were contestants. There we go. If you're on YouTube, you can see the image that Luke has on his background. This episode was titled The Battle of the Besties. And surprise, it's us. It's Sergio and I. Yeah, it's pretty surreal. I think this episode had a lot of ups and downs, obviously, for me and Sergio personally, but also I just think as a viewer, like it was intense. I had a lot of people texting me for this one. They were like, I'm so nervous. And I was like, imagine living through it. But yeah, I feel like there's so much to get into here. Where should we start? Should we just start from Ashley just taking the command and freaking dominating?
Absolutely.
Yeah, we gotta start off with her. And they showed on the telecast, right? I immediately go over to you. I'm like, are you watching out for Ashley? Like, she's the threat, my guy. So let's get into that right out the gate. You tell us, how are you feeling? Did you feel she was coming after you?
100%. I felt like, I don't know if it was you who told, I don't know what it was about the end of that last episode, but like, because she dueled in her original category of witchcraft. She dominated Josh. She never passed. And she got ancient Greece. And I guess like it was also just like having seen other people go down by the category swap and the fact that I knew a lot of people didn't want to duel podcasters. I was like, okay, there's like a strong chance Ashley can come for me because she, has a couple categories around her that she could do that she's been studying. And so I studied ancient Greece that night, like my life depended on it. And just full transparency, like I love history. I took Latin in high school, like all 4 years. I was like Latin AP. Like we read a lot of like ancient Roman and Greek literature. Like we had to read the Aeneid and stuff like that. So like I'm ancient Greece I am familiar with. Like it wasn't a scary category to me, but for sure it was one that I was like, I need to brush up on this. I need to look at images, both old and new, of these structures, because I was like, I'm sure they're gonna try to trick us. Like if they show, and who knows what they're gonna show. We haven't seen it played yet. But I was like, if they show like the Temple of Zeus, like are they gonna show like what they think it might have looked like in all its glory, or the ruins of it and that kind of thing. I was studying all of the Greek gods, making sure I remember their names, some of the lower gods, because like that's the other thing is like the Roman gods are in my head as well. So I was like making sure I did all that, studying like ancient Greek philosophers, all that stuff. So I was ready. I don't know who knows what would have happened, but I was definitely like prepared for it. And then the other thing I was trying to do, like I said last week, was like I was trying to prepare for if one of the islands got basically what happened was what my plan was if one of those islands got randomized, I was always going to go for 3, and then depending on what it was, I was going to get like a time boost of the category steal. But yeah, I didn't know if Ashley was going to be able to do what she did. And like when she took out, first of all, country music, thank you. I was very happy.
Getting it off the board.
For really?
And I never told anybody this because people were like, oh, what category would you never want to duel, blah, 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 blah. And like, again, I only said it once categories went off the board. Number 1 category I did not want to duel was country music. That was number 1. I don't know country. I don't like country. Come
on, you don't know Lil Nas X? Come on.
That's the one I did know. Of course I knew Lil Nas X, but he would have still smoked me in it because even though I might have gotten that, and I know Garth Brooks and like Faith Hill and Shania Twain, but like once they got into like there were people that I was like, I've never even heard of that person. Like even stuff like Jelly Roll, like I've heard of him, but I wouldn't have been able to get him. Like it wasn't until Jelly Roll came up that I was like, oh, that's who Jelly Roll is. Okay. Like I don't know country.
Uncultured swine.
I know. That's how I feel too. Yeah, I CMAs was one of the things that I was like, oh, I would absolutely duel this. But watching it, I definitely wouldn't have beat Ashley. And I don't know if I would have beat Mark. Like
Yeah,
Mark
he was really good.
he was really good. And it's funny because obviously for the viewers, the listeners, y'all don't know everybody's study habits, see what we see. Mark was constantly on the phone with his job at work in Oklahoma. And he was like, he kept telling me, I'm losing money being here. This is not good for me. I'm having fun, but I am ready to go. And so I was always like, challenge Mark if you get a chance. And now looking at it, I'm like, that man knew his own category though. So I don't know how that would, I don't know.
Yeah.
That was a good
But
duel.
it was a good duel, but Ashley doesn't pass once. So she didn't pass in Witchcraft, doesn't pass in Country Music Awards. Then she goes for Canadian Icons. I had no idea. I had talked to Sadia and I knew that like it wasn't necessarily the category she wanted. She like lived in Canada, and so like that's why I believe that's why they gave it to her, but she wasn't necessarily like a celebrity buff or anything like that. But I was also wasn't sure how well Ashley knew because these categories are not similar.
I agree.
Witchcraft,
Right.
Country Music Awards, Canadian Icons, those are all pretty different. She doesn't pass in a single one of them. And then she gets Ancient Greece and she lets everyone know this is the category I wanted the whole time, which that's really different too. So like at that moment, I was like, Ashley, in my mind, like I had not been thinking about Endgame up until this point. I really hadn't. I was just thinking about how do I survive each episode. Once Ashley did that and got the time boost and went back to the floor, in my mind, I went, okay, John, if you're thinking about Endgame, that is the biggest threat right there. Like she,
100%.
in my mind, was a 1000% the biggest threat on the floor. And again, like I don't know who knows what happens with all this. The only other person I was thinking about was Jacob because I knew he was smart. I knew Beatles songs was like a category that everybody thinks they might know, but he's been studying and he's had so much time to study. And that was really it. Those were the only two people I was really thinking about.
We talked about that a bit on the telecast. They didn't show it. They showed the part where I say Ashley's a huge threat, but we talked a lot about her speed in those confessionals that they didn't show. And I think that's the thing that separated the threats was we haven't seen Jacob. We haven't seen Kurt. We haven't seen some of these other scary individuals like Valerie.
Right.
But we have seen Ashley. And we watched Ashley take on 3 very different categories to show the broadness of her intelligence. But not only that, we saw the speed. We saw something that was like, okay, she's fast, right? And that to me, that's what made me say like she's a big threat because not only is she intelligent, but she's got that savage speed in her. So that was something I thought we had to keep an eye on. I was a little disappointed when she took the time boost and went back to the floor because I was praying that she category swapped with you, and then because I would take Ashley on in podcasters if that was
in podcasters, right? She would have had that. So that's right.
Yeah, had she swapped with you, like I said, podcasters was just a scary category, and then knowing that you had it, I just felt that was unstoppable.
Luke,
Sergio, that would not have worked out
for you. Yeah, no, that would not have worked out for you.
She would have beat you in that too, obviously.
She would have.
Probably. What I'm saying is, I was hoping that
she would have gotten Michelle Obama. That's for sure.
Are we sure about that? I'm sure.
She wouldn't have passed on Michelle Obama.
We'll have to ask Ashley. But my mindset was like, I just don't want to duel Jonathan in podcasters, right? So anybody, just anybody do something. Make something happen.
There's
so that way I can avoid that.
A psychological aspect to it too. Okay, so that being said, go.
Before we get to that, because yes, I want to talk to you, Serge, about what happened in that duel. But first, just to stay on Ashley for a second.
Yes,
she beat Mark on CMAs with 19 seconds left. She beat Sadia, although to be fair, Sadia fell apart. But she beat Sadia with 32 seconds left. Yeah. And then when she beat Josh originally, she had 31 seconds left. So yes, she's a speed demon.
Zero passes as well.
0 passes. Other thing is, if you're looking at the floor in sort of these little areas and quadrants, Ashley and Josh Katz as well. Now we're both
Endgame
locked in. There's no one next to them that can be randomized. Someone would have to move through the whale to get to either of them. And even then, Josh is in a worse position than Ashley for two reasons. One, he got bones. We have no idea if Josh likes bones at all. He said he did, and everyone doubted him. Whereas Ashley said she likes grease. Immediately, everyone's like, oh, she likes grease. And the time boost.
Time
Like
boost, yeah,
Ashley,
the bigger.
listeners, watchers, if Ashley's not in the final, something went terribly wrong for her. I don't know. I've already been eliminated. Serge doesn't know. He's now been eliminated. Maybe Jonathan knows. We don't know. But like, she is like, it was Molly. Molly, with her own category of paleontology in the top right corner, was in the best position. Ashley has now taken that.
And we talked about in the earlier episodes how you have a shield, and sometimes you can use even people next to you as like a protector. Ashley is literally protected by the whale. Anyone that wants a piece of her has to go through something that nobody wants to go through right now. So it's like her positioning, her strategy, it was it, man. It was it.
Yeah.
She played it absolutely perfectly and set herself up for potentially a long run.
And to me, and look, I think anybody who gets in a corner and like hides out there, even if they only won one duel, which includes Ashley, Molly, and Molly got
Matt
one.
did that.
Right, Matt.
Rick also has done that now, and Brad has done that.
Brad. So yeah,
corner,
Rick. Yeah, Brad is literally in a corner, right, with hip hop stars.
As is Matt.
And is Ashley.
Matt-
Ashley is
Matt
too.
with exercise moves. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the
But
corners are
I'm saying-
occupied.
I'm saying, yeah, all four corners have done pretty much the same thing. Ashley just did it the best with 3 wins instead of 1.
Right, because she has a
Um,
time boost now.
Yeah.
With the category she feels good in, probably Matt has his original category, and then Brad has hip hop stars. But he got that really early on, so he's had time to study. That's the other thing about this stuff is like the people, and I obviously envy them. Like as the whale, I had to be studying multiple things, like many things for different reasons. I had to study stuff as to like go, okay, what if this person tries to switch a category into me? I have to defend against that. What if I inherit this category? I have my own category I need to study. And then also I need to study other categories because if I lose my advantage, I need to go try to get another advantage and make sure I can win in those.
Let's be honest. You have to study everything when you're the whale with 46 pieces. There's nothing that's unobtainable or nothing that can't challenge you. Everybody's one duel away from you possibly inheriting a random category. So there's really nothing.
Quite literally, there's not a single person other than Jacob at this. So 18 people. No. Sorry. I'm wrong about this. Valerie and Armand aren't yet touching you either.
Correct.
So of the 19 people that can be randomized, 16 of them are touching you. The people are going to continuously come for you. The other 3, Valerie, Armand, and Jacob, are all one or 2 duels. Yeah, literally 1 away. All of them are 1 away because Valerie could challenge Ben up the top, depending on what Ben does next episode. So even she is just 1 away. It's definitely, even though it's tough, right? Like what's better?
Molly, yeah.
Some people are going to look at Jonathan and be like, well, he's got $60,000 in his pocket. He is in the best spot. But to be Molly, where you got 1 person that can be randomized and get you, to be Ashley and Josh, where no one can be randomized and challenge you immediately. And then Brad's sitting at 2 with Jacob and Gary below him. And then we've got Matt and Rick both. Rick's got 1 in Kurt, and Matt's got 2 in Kurt and Zach. So those corners are looking really strong.
Yeah. All right. Is it time? Talk about.
It is.
So the worst case scenario for Sergio and myself, if I'm really being honest, happens. I was, first of all, could not believe this was the first randomizer. It was
There was
like
a 1 in 3 shot that it was going to be you, Serge. It could have been Tim. It could have been Laz.
But also, let's be honest, like, Serge didn't have to be the first randomizer of the episode. There are many other people who could have been randomized. And it was just like, and also the middle is supposed to be the least randomized thing. First randomizer goes to Sergio. And I was like, well, there you go. One of my shields already gone. And now we have to duel. And yeah.
So,
go ahead. Yeah.
Sergio, had you been studying podcasters?
I'll tell you one thing. I was studying sportscasters and arcade more than I was anything else. Like I said, from the gate, man, I described my worst case scenario, and it was always podcasters. Kirk tried to make a valiant effort into like letting me use his phone to study podcasters. But listen, I made my decision early on and was like, I'm better off convincing somebody else to challenge this man in podcasters than I'd have at beating him at podcasters. I did feel defeated before I even went up there, if I'm being honest. So I don't think any amount of studying would have helped my cause. I'm a pretty hobbit type studier, right? So I could have locked in a lot of those images, but I really felt defeated before I even went up there, if I'm being honest. After episode 6 and 7, I just made a conscious effort to try to get someone else to challenge Jonathan. Bailey was the only one out of all the contestants that said, you know what, Serge, I got you. If I get randomized, I'm coming after podcasters. And so I knew that if I got randomized before any of the other islands or anybody else, that it was
your execution. Yeah.
Yeah, it really was. And I know I probably should have studied, but I say this from the beginning, guys. Like, once you met Jonathan, and podcasters was already a category many of us feared. Once you met Jonathan, it sealed, signed, and delivered the fear, right? And I didn't feel I could compete with someone. I've said this many times, and I know you don't like it, but I beat John in so many other categories. I really feel that. I feel like my competitive nature would dominate him in a lot. Podcasters are just one that I could never even give him a valid challenge. And I knew that from the gate. And it just sucks how it turned out. But it was fun to just be there. And if I was gonna lose to anybody, I was happy it was you, and you saw at the end of the telecast, I was like, go take that 60K, man. Win the 60K.
Which is ironic because Jonathan wanted anyone else to beat you. He didn't want to be the one to beat you.
Yeah. It was, and we knew it was inevitable. The duel, like, we didn't know the category was necessarily inevitable, but then we knew that the duel was inevitable. And yeah, it was just like, all right, I felt like, yeah. And here's the thing. Never mind. I'll talk about this later. Never mind. But yeah.
Yeah. No, and so watching you up there, man, like continue your run, like I should have been a little upset about me leaving the show, but like, man, it was such a strange, bittersweet, right? Because people don't understand the bond that you do form with these people through trauma. But like, to be upset with my own performance, but like be so excited for somebody else is such a strange feeling, right? Because like you do feel hurt, but man, I think the joy I felt for you winning, like the episode 60,000, was it over, like completely overshadowed any like disappointment I had, and even coming home, man, like knowing that one of my friends, that's both of you win. That's 100,000 between the two of you right now as we sit, right? And that's cool as hell, man. Like you can't help but be happy for people you care about. So I was stoked that you won it. And I think I told you, take down the 250K or I'm gonna be very upset. So I look forward to watching your run to the 250K, because they didn't shoot that, but I did say that. So yeah, I'm hoping to see you win it all.
So at least two more things about this duel I want to touch on. One, Jonathan, you framed it very nicely to not use your time boost, but let's be honest, even if you didn't like Sergio and you knew he was as bad as he was in podcasters, you were never using that time boost on podcasters.
Let me say something real quick, Don, before you answer that.
Yeah.
Jonathan told me before this was like episode 2 or 3. And I asked him, if you get a time boost, are you using it on your own category? And he looks me dead in the eye. He's like, Sergio, if I can't beat anybody on this floor or everybody on this floor in my category without a time boost, I don't deserve to be here. That's simple. So I was like, ew, that's scary. That's scary. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, I definitely played it up a little bit. Look, at this point, we knew that the producers were like, that they obviously, we'd been doing these joint confessionals. So we knew the producers had admired this storyline. And I was like, okay, this will be a nice thing. But for sure, I also, in my mind, and we're about to talk about this, because I didn't know the rules properly, I was like, yeah, I'm not going to use my time boost here because there's a speed category that I want to do, and it's much better to use the time boost for a speed category than it is for a knowledge category, in which I feel confident that I have more knowledge than the person I'm facing. in that. And that would have been true. I think it would have been true for pretty much the only time it might not have been true is if I had felt like Jacob, for instance, who I know produces podcasts, if he had gotten like 1-2 and then dueled me in it, I might have been like, okay, let me just use this. Because if there was somebody who I knew on the floor who like really, really knew it, I still probably would have felt like I could beat them without one. But I was like, at that point, why be?
Yeah.
But you,
Well, the
so
fact
you
that-
looked right past me, right? First of all, but did
There are-
you were aware that I was not versed at all in podcasters?
Yeah,
so-
I'll be like, a lot of people have asked me, Sergio, if you like, a few people have literally asked me, including my sister, like, did Sergio just let you win? And I was like, no, he just didn't study. Like, I think people, we didn't. I think we didn't. I didn't think you were
Just say it, man. Say it. Spit it out now.
only going to get one right answer. But I did know that you had. I didn't think you were bluffing when you kept telling me that you didn't know podcasters and you didn't want to play it. You know what I mean? I didn't think you were bluffing.
Speaking of only one right answer, I maybe controversial, but 9RMBXR9 on Reddit agrees with me. How are they not going to give you Conan when
told me.
later in Famous Teachers they give Julie, or I think it was Julie, they give her Ross when she doesn't
Ross.
say Ross
But
Geller.
Ross is a fictional character.
Yeah, but it's still just a first name, and I would say Conan, and that's literally his brand is Conan. He's got a brand
Yeah.
logo that doesn't even include O'Brien. What is his podcast called? Isn't it like Friends of Conan?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Shout out to Liz for trying to defend your boy.
His TV show was also called Conan when he was on.
Well,
TV. So-
CBS show. I think typically with
If you Google the word Conan, just the Conan, the first thing that comes up is Conan O'Brien. Before
For
Conan the
sure.
Barbarian,
I love
it's just
Luke.
like
I think typically with real people, they want you to say at least the last name or first and last.
name.
The only I think the time they make exception with real people is somebody like Madonna or
Cher.
Cher, right?
My argument is
you can-
Conan is the
Yeah.
Madonna of comedy.
And that I think that is a valid argument, but it is also one of those things where that's completely up to the judge's discretion. If they feel like
Yeah.
there's other famous Conan, whereas
Yeah.
there's no other famous Madonnas or other famous Chers.
The
And to be
the
fully
mother of
transparent.
Christ, the mother of Christ would disagree with you
Ah.
on Madonna.
Okay. Her name is Mary, but sure.
Now,
All
but
right,
to be fair,
we have
production
a-
did tell us that
Oh,
we
yeah.
had to say the full name. They
Full
said
name.
you have to say first and last name or just the last name. So I was aware that Conan wouldn't be accepted. It is what it is.
Yeah,
you know?
because you also said Dax. I think,
But Dax is definitely not on Conan.
Okay, but it's funny that you
one-
say that because Dax is a much more unique name than Conan is. You know what I mean? Like, who
They're
else
both
is named
pretty-
Dax?
Yeah, but
There
I
are
don't know, and
other
now-
people named.
I'm not gonna defend anything about Dax now that I know he said that weird thing to his wife about killing her. Anyway,
Oh,
we'll move
shit.
on from the controversy.
Okay, then.
It was strange. It was very strange.
Okay, we
Google
have a
it.
special guest that I'm gonna let in here. We'll talk about all these other duels as well. But
Who's it gonna be?
It's time.
It's
Um,
QP1M. What up?
hello,
Didn't you want if I
welcome.
use my work computer to talk to you guys? I should probably change my name if I knew how to do that.
No,
Oh,
I was gonna say
I like
QV1M
QV1M.
is that's cooler than Jasmine.
UV1M.
My thing is if there was a category and it was your face,
I can
and I
rename
said
it.
QV1M instead of Jasmine, they better give it to me.
Oh God. Hi.
How is it
Hey.
going? Nice
Oh,
background.
I know. It's like I'm in my home office, so there's like a Peloton behind me. So I'm like, this is not appropriate. We'll make this look better.
Welcome. Thank you so much for doing the podcast, Jasmine. We're
What up,
excited.
gang?
I'm excited. I stood behind you guys this whole time, so I might as well get something.
So basically, we just talked about Sergio and my duel.
Yeah, we're not to your duels yet, Jasmine. Is that okay? If you...
That's fine.
Okay, great.
Give us your reaction on Jonathan and Sergio's besties.
Oh, actually, we might as well do this. We might as well do
'Cause you
since we
did
have
cry.
here. Yes.
You did
Okay.
cry
Do
on
you wanna?
TV.
Do you want to? Because there are people who are talking about it. Oh my God! Why do people cry? It's just a game show. Who cares?
Oh my God, stop.
These people aren't real. They're just characters on my little screen.
Okay, the hardest part is it's super stressful. You guys have talked about this mental endurance this entire time. I've listened to all of your episodes. But I think like at this point, it's the second episode of filming on that day. It's like midday. We're tired.
So tired.
So tired.
This is the fourth day.
Fourth day. And
These are like 16-hour days.
yeah, like running on bare minimum food, water, and freaking gummy bears. But I think for me, I'm naturally an emotional person. So adding all of the extra hullabaloo of the show just makes it that much more. And like, I definitely did cry multiple times in this series. Honestly, I love the two of you. You really cried.
No, you didn't.
Specific time. I cried when Harley got chosen to duel with Aaron. And
Right.
Harley and I were immediately super close from the beginning. She kept calling me her mom, which made me feel really old. But I'm like, teen mom? Because I'm not that old.
No,
I'm definitely
16 and
like,
pregnant?
literally, I am a good chunk older than her. But I just felt really protective over her just in general. And so when Aaron was on his streak, I just was like, why the baby? Don't touch the baby. Like, that's the little one. Like, protect her. So I got really emotional at that point. But then the cameras ran to me to like get the camera in my face while I was crying. And that made me feel so awkward. I started laughing that they like ran away. They were like, oh, this moment's gone. But I think there's a little bit of like wiping the tears, getting like.
I don't think this is awkward to say. You like, some people cry ugly like me. You cry beautifully. So it was like a great cinematic moment. And they were like, we're definitely using this whenever we want, which is what they did.
Totally. And then there's like moments like when Ty won his money and shared his story about his wife. Like that really hit home. Ty was on my shuttle. So we were bonded
up
from
on
the
that one, too.
beginning. And then like anytime somebody shared something about their family, like I have 2 kids at home. So that just made me feel more connected to the players outside of just trivia and the game.
And so they didn't air that part, Jasmine, but I remember you telling me, and this is only because I want to make sure that people know that I was liked on the floor. But you told me you're like, once you mentioned your kids up there and you said, I hope daddy made you proud, you're like, oh, I got very sad. And I was like, yeah.
No, if
I'm
anyone
cool.
talks about any kids, it could be like, I will melt like a puddle just because that's everyone's main motivator. But also, I blacked out half this episode. So I don't know. I might have cried for you. I might have just been hungry. Like, I don't know. But I have, like I said, I was behind both of you the entire time.
Right.
So I'm here for it.
So yeah, so then after this happens, I lose podcasters, I inherit Mattel. And then my plan, because this was so early, that was a huge part of this, was the fact that this was so early on. I was like, I gotta play because people are gonna come after me anyway. Might as well get another power up. I play Latasha in Phobias, and to this day, I will stand by using this time boost because I knew it was a speed duel. I knew she had to study this whole time because she knew it was a category that before we all got the prompts, everybody was like, phobias, I'm not going to touch that. And then when we got the prompt, it was very clear to most of us that this was actually a speed duel, that we would see the pictures of the phobias, that we wouldn't have to say the name of the phobia or have to understand what the name of a phobia was by the word itself.
Reading it, right. And the other thing is, besides just knowing it's a speed category, I'm not trying to take away from any other contestants. She talked to Tasha. Tasha's brilliant. That woman is really, really smart. She delivers babies for a living, already incredibly impressive, very high stress. And she clearly has dealt with that, which I was always thinking about with certain people. I didn't even ask Ashton about this, but I'm like, you fly in a helicopter and save people's lives. Like, some people's jobs just lend themselves to dealing with going on the stage with that pressure is just not going to affect you. And so Tasha, I was always like, that is a competitor. That's someone that even though nobody had seen her play yet, I still was like, she is going to be calm under the pressure. And she was. And you saw when she got men, what did she say? She was like, people. And then they have that great moment of her being like, and then she still figures it out. So
she was definitely cool under pressure. And I'm obviously being a midwife. That's got to help. But it was funny because I met Latasha after she got eliminated and we were both in the same holding room. And she tells me about how it went down. And I watched a glimpse of it because I was still in the studio area. So I watched how it ended. I didn't see how many seconds they had left. So when she tells me, she's like, yeah, I didn't even lose all my time. I was like, then find solace in that, right? Like you didn't lose your duel. They just gave it to Jonathan. And no disrespect, Jonathan, you would have won it maybe, but that's how I saw it.
Maybe?
Right? Come on, man.
No. But look, I think it was amazing that we got to do something that nobody has ever done on the floor before. And yes, was it like an easier category in the sense that like we see an image, we don't have to actually name the phobia? Sure, but there have been many easy categories on the floor. People have done these kinds of speed duels in every single season, multiple times. This is the first time that a category was like completed. And I think that speaks to the poise that we both had. Like
Both.
it's not just it's not only the not passing, it's the speed and the composure and being able to like, and I also believe that part of that was because we both studied this. Like, yes, the images are easy to recognize. People are like, oh, a kid can do this. Sure, but a kid can't do it as quickly as we are doing it. It's the recall. Like for instance, Latasha gets a picture of a plane. She says flying immediately. She doesn't say airplane, right? Like when I got the picture of the holes, like that picture looks weird. Like it's not immediate like to everyone's mind that they're gonna say holes. But because I was studying phobias, I knew holes was a phobia because I was like looking at some of the weirder ones and I was like, holes, what the hell? And so when I saw that, I was like, oh, that's what this must be their interpretation of what holes is. Because holes could have been anything. It could have been a bunch of holes dug up on like a ground or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought, yeah, go ahead.
One thing I was shocked by is this is the category they run out of images.
Yeah, I know.
Like,
it's infinite.
You could have had it 50 more easily. Like,
right.
You guys are just lazy. Like, what are you doing? Literally, there's a fear of everything. Think of it. Bats. I don't think bats was on there, right? Like,
I mean, there is so many phobias. It's well over. There's literally hundreds of phobias. There's basically a fear for everything you can think of.
Every animal.
Oh, every animal easily. Yeah. I think so here's my theory on this. My theory is the reason they have a set amount, even though like they literally never had this happen before, they had rules built in for it. By the way, because the listeners will never know this, the rules are, yes, if whoever has the most time will win, but if it was tied, if we both had 2 seconds on the clock, Latasha would have won. Even though I started.
The one that got challenged. Yeah.
The person who gets challenged will lose. So the challenger has both the disadvantage of going first, right? Which means like your timer starts first, and the disadvantage of if you tie, the tie goes to the person who was challenged. So you literally have to be quicker as the challenger. But I think the reason they have a complete set and not many is so if things mess up and they have to redo a duel, I am guessing, and maybe I'm giving them too much credit, I'm guessing they have a whole other set of clues that they can go to, so that they can replay. Because imagine if an error happened closer to the end of the duel, and it's like what do we do now, right? Like I don't know, or the error happened at the top of the duel.
Yeah,
sorry, that's what it happens at the top of the duel, but because of the way they do these challenges, you can't say anything until the end. So we run out the whole category. The person who had the error lost, and now they have to redo the whole thing.
Yeah.
So that's my theory. I don't know. That's speculation.
Yeah, I could
sense.
see that.
So the last thing I want to say about Tasha, I've been thinking about like, okay, if they did it, I don't think they're ever going to do this. If they did an all-timers, like all-stars season,
sure.
and brought back the best players. The only player I can think of that never won a duel that should come back is Tasha, because she's the first person to lose with time on her clock. Like, give her another shot. That would just be so dope. So then Jonathan, of course, as you said to Rob, you don't play 2, you got to play 3. And I think this makes sense. You had already been close to Andrea the whole time. And
I was
go for Disney.
No one would, because I knew so many people wanted to do
Everybody
Disney
wanted
animation.
this. Everybody wanted this category. Yeah. Even if you're not a movie person, like
you grew up with
these
Disney.
are the movies we all grew up with. Yeah. We all grew up with.
Right.
Like, so you challenge Disney, and this is the first time, Jonathan, that you've trailed where someone was beating you.
Yes. So you know how I've said on this podcast, like, I always like I try to think of what the first movie might be. Let me tell you what I never thought in a million years would be the first movie. Sleeping Beauty. And the poster for that was wild, guys.
It was weird.
It was an old school poster. It's an older movie, not close to one of their more classic ones. So like when that image came up, it took me a second. And then I say Sleeping Beauty. And then we're off to the races. And I immediately knew, I was like, I'm behind. And then not only that, but as we were doing this duel, like, and maybe it eventually evened out. But I remember there were some times where I was like, I'm getting these long freaking titles, like Snow White and the Seven Doors, because they said you have to say the full title. So I was like, Snow White and the Seven Doors. I'm like trying to say, and then like I forgot what her next one was, but I just remember her just being like, up. And I was like, come on.
I do.
One syllable.
One syllable. Yes. The true floor heads do be thinking about syllables. And I was like, dang, up. That's so dope. That's such a good one to get.
But they have like deep cuts, like the good dinosaur. And it's like,
Thank you.
James and the Giant Peach, that's a tough one.
Thank you.
James and the Giant Peach also, that was tough.
Which one?
That was tough because James and Giant Peach, because the first thing is that grasshopper. And so I was like, is that Bug's Life? I was like, that dude looks weird from Bug's Life. And then I saw the peach and I was like, okay, we're in.
Yeah. And the other thing about it is I was never going to pass. I truly believe that. I studied this category hardcore before when we got the first list, because I studied a lot of the film categories. I've said this before, but I was like, I can't lose in a film category. I just do not want to lose in a film category. Disney animation was one that I believe everybody was like, we all know this, but I was like, okay, but I'm actually going to know it. And so I was ready for Ichabod and The Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad. You guys know that movie?
I know the rides.
Right. I got a kid.
Yeah. Do you know like Fun and Fancy Free?
Oh,
I remember studying Fun and Fancy Free,
right?
But I've never seen that movie.
Yeah. So there are certain like older Disney movies that like I just nobody plays anymore or whatever. So I was studying those, and I just made sure that I like had in my brain so I can quickly recall all of the movies that I did know, including all the newer ones, right? All the newer Pixar movies that came straight to streaming, and people like Onwards and Turning Red, right? Like things that people aren't as familiar with maybe because they didn't see it in movie theater, they weren't as popular. Luca, stuff like that. So like I knew I wasn't going to pass, and I was approaching the duel like Andrew was never going to pass either. And honestly, she was not passing for a long time, and it was very, very quick and tight. Kurt tells us like how many guesses we got right. I got 17 and she got 16 in a knowledge category where she passed twice. We still ran through 32 movies, or 33 movies. That's a lot. Just for like comparison, Pet Supplies, when Marcia won Pet Supplies, neither of them passed. Marcia got 17 right and Elizabeth got 16 right. So we got the same amount as they did in Pet Supplies, which everyone thinks of as a speed category. When she passed twice, she was fast as hell. Like her passes were quick, and she was recalling them like this. Like this duel was tough. And I know, and look, I get it. It's Disney animation. We all know it. But I'm telling you, when you're actually dueling on the floor, and also it was posters, by the way. The posters are a little...
That's different.
They're a little
tougher.
different.
It's tougher than seeing the most famous character up close.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Because
so
with Sleeping Beauty, Sleeping Beauty herself was in the bottom left-hand corner, very
Well,
small.
all the older films, those movie posters are so different than if you were to get the DVD nowadays of Sleeping Beauty versus like the Lilo and Stitch one with like the current
correct
poster of Stitch in the middle. So I get
That's
that
very true.
layer of difficulty with the older movies.
Okay,
Yes.
Jonathan, quick quiz. I'm about to put up on my virtual background a movie. Let's see if you can name it.
And I say I haven't been studying lately, but go
Are
ahead.
you ready? Are you
ready? I'm ready. Oh, is that Fun and Fancy? No, melody makes music. Music makes.
Make Mine Music.
Make Mine Music.
That when I studied Disney animation, I was like, they're gonna show this, and I'm not gonna know it because what is this movie?
And at the time I knew that has definitely gone from my brain now. I knew a little bit. That's how you knew I had studied at one point. That's that cramming.
Yeah.
Make Mine Music.
Crazy.
I know that's what I was afraid of. I was like, they're gonna show the Three Caballeros, and I know some people know that, but I didn't know that. And I was like, I got to get this. Also, by the way, when I was prepared to say Atlantis: The Lost Empire, I did know the other part of that. But I immediately said Atlantis, and then I started to say the other thing, and they gave it to me, and I was like, okay, great.
Dude, that poster. Wow, that was a cool poster.
I wonder if they needed the whole title.
They didn't for that specific one, and I think the reason is because I asked them about sequels. I asked them about sequels, and I was like, so if you show a sequel, do we need to know the subtitle? And they were like, hold on. No, we don't. You can say whatever 2 or 3.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay.
Dope.
And then later on, then they didn't even have the sequels. But yeah. Because I was wondering if they needed Ralph Breaks the Internet as opposed to Wreck-It Ralph. Anyway, I was prepared for all of it. I was not ready to lose this category. Anyway, it was a great duel. She was great. And I will say this, of my run so far, these 2 duels in a row felt the most satisfying to me because I felt like I was up against extremely tough competition and was able to keep my composure and still win. And like I felt like, at least to myself, I was like, I feel like I've proved myself here, like because they were awesome. It was awesome too. Like that was a tight duel as well.
But you like that volley, like you guys have that, like bing,
boom,
like
boom, boom. Yeah, it was. Yeah,
no, I get that.
Anyway, okay, I'll stop.
Dope.
Okay. So then I get the category swap. Mattel obviously is something that like I was studying somewhat. I wasn't fully like Sergio, where I was like, I'm not going to study this category at all. I did want to study it, but the reason that I never liked the Mattel category was, to me, it felt so hard to study. There are so many Mattel toys. I couldn't quite like ever find like here's the official name of the like, even like
I was in the same boat.
On Wikipedia.
Because obviously I was next to Sergio.
Right.
Yeah, I literally was like, there's no good master list of these
no
things.
good master list.
Where like Sandra Bullock movies, I went to Letterboxd to click Sandra Bullock. Every movie she's done is right there. Easy.
Right there.
Yeah. But yeah, Mattel toys, it was like I would watch YouTube videos of like the best Mattel toys, and even then it was like, this is only 10, and then I'm looking for it was really
even going on Mattel's
website.
website. Like I would go on Mattel's website and I was like, there's like a lot of this stuff is like they're showing me the brand. Like we own Hot Wheels. And I was like, okay, so is like any car I see going to be Hot Wheels, or are they going to have specific ones? Like we own American Girl dolls. Okay, so am I going to see an American Girl doll, or do I need to know the specific ones? Like Mattel felt like such a weirdly hard category that was so hard to study that felt like, I don't know. And we are yet to see it duel, but I felt like weird about that. So I wanted to switch it out. And then really in my head, my only options were book adaptations in ancient Greece. And I basically felt like these 2 options were in my mind were, do I want to play for this episode and what I think is the best chance of winning $60K, like winning this episode? Or do I want to play for what is my best chance of making it to the final and possibly winning $250,000? And my brain went like, I really was going back and forth because there was a part of me that was like, John, you already have $48K in the bank. take a risk and go for the end. And then there was another part of my brain was like, John, 60K is a lot of money.
Yeah.
And
More
like
than 40.
and like it's better than 40. And how about you just, if you can get a close to a guarantee of 60K, that's way better than this huge risk of trying to play for some end game that you probably won't make it to. I will say this. Armand came up to me during the break, because we had a break before I actually had to make my decision. And they kept asking me, what are you going to do? And I was like, I don't know. Leave me alone. I need my 5 minutes. Our freaking 5-minute break. And I went out, and Armand came up to me and he was like, are you thinking about choosing book adaptations? And I was like, yeah, definitely. It's a film category. You're, I think at this point, maybe the only like true film category left. Like we started off with a lot. This was the last one. And I was like, so I think, yeah, absolutely. I was like, it's either that or ancient Greece. I don't know right now. And he was like, okay. And that's all he said. If this man, I'm telling you right now, Armand, you're listening. If Armand had gone up to me and went, hey, man, I know you're thinking about seeing my category. I'm going to tell you right now, if you choose ancient Greece, I don't think anybody's coming for you. I think a lot of people are scared of ancient Greece. And if you choose it, and you think you know it, I think that might be better. And then you can play me in book adaptation. We can see who's
That
best.
was the move, Armand.
If he said that, I'm
was a
telling you
move.
right now, I was so 50-50. All I needed was a little push in one direction, and I would have done it. I would have been like, bet.
And
let's
that's
do it.
got to
Ancient
speak
Greece.
to the strategy, to the social aspects, because that's real, man. And I thinking back on that, oh, Armand, you should have done that, my guy. You know what? Because like he told me, he's like, dude, I think John's coming for the category. I got to, you remember right after episode 8, they gave me a little time to hang out with you guys
Right.
because I was such a bestie. But yeah, Armand was like, dude, like, can't believe this. Can't believe he's coming after mine. And I'm just like, it was there for him. He had a strategy he probably could have used and he didn't. And to hear that you would have probably backed off of him makes it that much more evident that strategy could have been used right here, Armand, during that break, you know?
The other thing I was thinking about too was like, Armand was it. I had all these plans for like, here are somebody challenges me, and then here are the next 2 duels that I was going to do. And book adaptations was always one of them. And at this point, all I had to do was state nicknames to get to book adaptations. And so that 1-2 thing was already always there. And so in my mind, I was like, if I take book adaptations, I'm losing one of those 1-2 moves that I have, and I'm running out of them. Whereas if I take ancient Greece, I don't have to worry about her ever coming for me until the very
She
end,
won't get randomized.
because she won't get randomized, and Josh's won't get randomized either. And so now she's stuck with a category she didn't necessarily want over there in the corner. Like I am making a big threat for the end game a little bit weaker and possibly scaring out other people. But again, the reason I went with book adaptations at the end was that I was
comfort
like,
level.
just comfort level. I just was like, ancient Greece, I just had started studying last night. As you can see with my preparation for Disney animation, like I wanted to feel like there's no way I'm going to pass, like when I entered into a category. And with ancient Greece, I was like, you'll probably pass. And then it'll be like whoever, you just have to hope the person who chooses you like doesn't actually know it. And I didn't know everybody's comfort level with ancient Greece. So anyway, that's why.
You make the decision to steal book adaptations, then you go back and you're like, that's my shield. It's a solid move. Solid move.
And we'll get to it later at the very end, but
Yeah,
there
it
was an
worked,
opening.
apparently.
It worked. It worked. I'm surprised that
I'm
you didn't
surprised
do
too.
one.
We'll
But,
talk about Frank later. Let's get into the next
Yeah,
one.
exactly. We move on to Julie and Johnny. And
What'd you think about this, Jasmine?
Johnny Davis he was my table mate. So we were buddies the entire time. And it's funny to see what people like on Reddit and things are talking about him, because
Sure.
he is like a chill guy. And he definitely didn't come up to play like some of us did. And I
Sure.
think that's okay. And I just think this one was
Can you
tricky.
elaborate on that a little bit, Jasmine? Do you feel like he had a lot more on the line? Or can you elaborate a little bit on that?
Yeah, I think he definitely had different expectations going into the game, just thinking of like the payout and how things were going to happen. I think everyone comes into the game with different motivations. And I think
Yes.
he had a different motivation to play in this game than a lot of us did. I think, speaking for myself, I just wanted to play. Like, I was just here to be a fan and play. Like, I've been a fan since season 1. And I think some people were looking at it as like, this is my shot to change my life. This is my 250 or this is my 20K, whatever it might be. But when it came to studying, I don't know how much he did in the moment when we were in the waiting rooms as much as some other people did. He pretty much, he kept to himself. But I think he is a teacher he teaches English in his everyday life, or has a past of teaching English in his everyday life. So he does have some of that knowledge when it comes to it. But I think he was studying more famous teachers like Aristotle and that type of famous teachers versus
Oh no, really?
some of them, yes. Some of them, yes. But I don't think he did it as entertainment-y as what we saw it play out.
Oh, dang.
But that's the thing, is like, we don't know. Even based off the prompt, it said something about famous teachers. Anybody could be a teacher.
Wait, but when Rob said it, he said from film and television. Was that not in the prompt that we got?
I don't remember.
I can find the prompt.
I'm going to look it up too.
Let's see what you did, Jasmine.
I don't know. Sorry.
I will say this. Apparently, in the other seasons, they did not get this thing. This prompt.
The prompts?
They did.
Yes.
What?
So we are the
When
first
did you
season.
learn that?
I saw it on Reddit or somewhere. Like, I saw somebody say that. Like, somebody was like, we don't know what or maybe on Facebook, they were like, we didn't know what the categories were until Rob said it, or until we went up and they told us what the thing was. And I was like, oh my God, that's horrible. Like, that is. So the first 3 seasons had it way
harder.
Yes.
harder,
If that's
especially
true,
for
if that's
people.
true.
Yeah, especially for people who like to prep. And I think it's interesting because I remember Jen saying, like, we want you guys to do well. And so maybe part of the change,
They want battles.
they want people to actually, it's like, we don't have that much time to study. This game is still hard, even if we know if we have an idea of what's going to be on. I don't think it's not really fun to watch 2 people just get a bunch of things wrong because neither of them
Thanks,
knew
John.
what the category was going to be.
Sergio,
waited
you
for
are a
me.
unique flower. Don't worry. So the prompt reads, the category is famous teachers. Name the iconic educators from television and movies. So Johnny did not read that.
Yeah, unless he thought that like that could mean like documentaries or educational television.
That's a wild
I'm trying to give him
pull.
the
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know.
I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt here. I do think some people didn't read the prompts.
Yeah.
I think that
Absolutely.
I think some people legitimately didn't read the prompts.
And that's because the categories were sent out without prompts, and the prompts were later sent out. So there is
Yeah,
a chance
the
that
night
even while
before.
you're abroad,
Yeah.
you didn't even get the email, you didn't read the email, you didn't have reception to get the email. So it is possible that people accidentally or unintentionally didn't read the prompts, I suppose.
Also, and look, to Jasmine's point too, everyone's here for different reasons. So, like, a lot of people were like, I just want to soak up this experience. Like, I don't want to like just like look, a lot of people view this game as mostly luck, and therefore, or like whatever, you're gonna know what you know, and like studying in a couple of hours is not gonna really help you. And if you really feel that way, then like, yeah, why bother wasting all this free time you have studying something that you may never get to play or may never help you at all, when you could just hang out with people, like enjoy the
Enjoy it.
experience. Yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah, I don't know. That duel was hard. It was tough for both of them. I think there was a lot of passes in that. Also, it's a hard category. Like,
it goes back to the judges thing
Yeah.
of, wait a second, I'm not just studying movies or TV. I have to study both of them. And then even then there's some like Mr. Finney from Boy Meets World. He was on my study guide. I saw somebody post about him on Facebook. Wasn't in there.
right.
It's just you.
But like
there's just
Rick from Rick and Morty, who I would never ever think of as
call
a teacher.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like there's
It's very loose
it's,
definition.
yeah, it's loose, it's vague, and yeah, it's like they clearly were saying mentors as well. Mr.
Yeah.
Miyagi
Right.
is not a teacher. Let's be clear, he is a sensei.
And he
It's like
teaches.
that is yeah, it's different. Exactly.
Lawyer.
It's just like
Le-
so It's tough. Those are tough categories. Yeah, Julie won with 5 seconds left. So
Yeah. And even
it
some of the
was
teachers that like date like Dangerous Michelle Pfeiffer and Dangerous Minds. Obviously, I guess maybe I would have studied that, but I was like, I don't remember her character name.
I don't remember her name. I remember
That's Michelle Pfeiffer.
also Indiana Jones is a professor. He does not really teach much in those
Barely.
movies.
Yeah. You
He
see him
punches a
like
lot of
teaching for
Nazis.
maybe, yeah, 5 seconds in the beginning of the movie.
Exactly. And what does he teach short round? To be in danger? I think, come on, man. That's not what I'm thinking of when I'm studying that category. So
I think the funny thing about that duel that I forget about some of the other entertainment duels is that there's a layer of Fox across all of them because there were 2 teachers from Glee in that duel. Glee is a Fox show. So it's all
Right.
the little layers that I forget about when
So
it's
she's
the Impressions duel, Jane Farrow, a host of another Fox
Yep.
show. Like all those little things I
Right.
didn't put together until
It's a
now
great
that I'm
point.
watching. Like so
Great
these
point.
people,
also like Sue Sylvester is a gym. I guess it's a gym
she's a
teacher.
gym teacher.
Gym teacher.
All right.
Also Fox. Yeah. No.
That's
Yes. Kurt brought this point up, but sometimes they don't do the Fox thing. Sometimes because then
It's true.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
you
anyway.
definitely don't want to put all of your eggs into the Fox basket, and then that's the season they're like, "Hey, we want to diversify our portfolio."
Yeah.
It's like, okay,
Anywho, all right, Jasmine. Now we get to you, right? Yeah, I wasn't surprised Julie went back to the floor. Were you
she was
guys?
on the edge and her own category. Yeah,
With her
that's a
own
great move.
category. It
That's the
didn't-
recipe.
you
Literally
know,
the recipe.
she just did like a movie film adjacent category. It didn't do super well in, so I wasn't worried about her coming after me.
Yeah, yeah. Sub out. Go back to the bench, get your Gatorade, and then be ready later. I don't blame her at all.
And now,
Good ones by her though. Based off Jacob's reaction, he like fell down.
yeah, I guess he thought.
Yeah.
Did he think she was gonna come after him?
My theory
No.
is he wanted her to come after him.
That's what I
my
think too.
theory.
That Jacob was not thinking about Julie in that moment. Jacob was thinking about Jacob in that moment.
I think so.
Now, thinking about that, if she had picked him, he would have come after me for sure.
Oh, he goes on
yeah.
the run. He
Right?
goes on the
Yeah.
run.
He goes.
Bucko.
Yeah.
Who would he have gotten? And would he have done 1, 2, 3 time boost than me? Probably.
Yeah,
Maybe.
After Brad,
Maybe.
he would go
Or-
to Hip Hop Stars after he.
Yeah, he would absolutely challenge Brad and Hip Hop Stars. So now he's bordering you. And then if he wants one more, he could do Gary and Leather. He's probably been studying that.
Right.
And then time boost and challenge you with 50 seconds.
That would have been a great move.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would have been a great.
Because I don't think he swaps for Christmas.
No. That doesn't make sense.
No way.
He
Yeah,
knows
yeah, that's
he knows
speed-
film, so it doesn't. Yeah, to challenge me on an even playing field with Christmas would have been. I mean, he would have won, but that feels way more risky than
Yeah.
having a 5-second time boost in a category he's also feels good in,
Yeah.
and at the very least, like neither of us pass, but he has 5 more seconds, so he wins.
So
Yeah.
we'd have to talk to Jacob, but I do have a theory that he was hoping to get
Yeah.
challenged by.
Oh,
Julie in
absolutely.
that.
Yeah. So shout out Julie for not letting that universe happen and giving Jonathan $20,000.
Yeah, that's true.
You were part of that recipe. Shout out
That's
to you, bro.
true. Shout out. All right, and now we get to Emily is the next person randomized, right?
Yep. Emily is randomized and she challenges you, Jasmine.
Were
So,
you
I mean,
surprised?
Emily
Gosh,
had been studying. She has been studying energy drinks. Oh, every
was gonna
single
say,
time
you
I saw
knew-
Emily,
yeah, you knew she was coming for you, right?
I totally knew because at this point in the game, I was literally ineligible to play the entire time. I never touched. No randomized spot was by me.
Wow.
that's crazy.
I never touched the whale. I literally was a background actor for the first
7
8
episodes.
Like
8 episodes.
nothing. This was the only time. So I knew that if she were randomized, she was going to come for me because she was super close with Austin and Sydney. And they were the 2 in front of her, other than the whale. So it's
That's
either the
not the
whale
ones they
or her
called
2
themselves.
besties.
Yeah. And challenging Jonathan in a category he chose as your first pick is a crazy idea.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I
you were
so
ready, Jasmine?
What?
So you were ready?
My whole strategy going into it was like, CYA, I got to protect my own ass. Like I can't control the way the board is going to look. I can't control when I was going to get randomized. The only thing I could control was myself. That was my number one thing going in because there's just too much to learn that it's not my style. So I got to protect my energy drinks.
Right.
That's what I did. Going in.
Tell us, how did you get this category? Is this a category you chose? Like, what happened? What do you think you know why you got it?
We talked a lot about celebrities and pop culture type things. So the viral moments that Sam had, I thought that was my realm. I brought up famous families was one, not necessarily Nepo babies, but like the Jackson family, the Kardashians,
Oh, I
the
see.
Arquettes, like give me that full
Celebrities,
serving.
right.
But I won a pizza eating contest in college.
Dope.
Oh,
I thought I
what?
was going to go food route.
Okay.
Mhm.
I think my joke was that I have a 9 to 5, and then as a parent, I have a 5 to 9. Like I'm just busy with
Right.
stuff that I think if I didn't get coffee, because I was a former barista, I was going to get something foodie. So I think this is like the happy medium between a food category and not getting coffee.
Huh.
Yeah. Nature's
Pretty-
perfect food. Red Bull.
Pretty loose association though.
Yeah.
They straddled you with a category that you weren't really talking about
Yeah.
much at all.
Really, when they asked you to send photos, I sent a photo of me drinking some soda because they were like, "Do you have anything kind of like?"
No, that's not even an energy drink.
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
had like, I'm literally
But then
holding cans.
Then the category wasn't even
Yeah,
energy drinks. It's
caffeinated
energy
beverages.
drinks and caffeinated beverages. Yeah, the internet did not like
The
that.
internet is pissed about. I think the internet is more pissed about this category than anything else.
Yeah, that's Americans for you. They're like, you're gonna call an Arizona tea caffeine. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
barely anything.
And
I mean-
I was livid when I saw Arizona. As soon as I saw Arizona, I was like,
Especially because it was Arizona green tea as well. I was like,
yeah, the
I was like-
less caffeinated version.
exactly.
I was like, what's
She's in
going
the-
on?
It was like,
Now-
there's not enough caffeine in there to wake up a baby. Come on now.
Energy drinks is a category that I think there was a Sporkle. Was there a Sporkle quiz on energy drinks?
There was.
There was,
Yeah,
and I
there was.
remember. So I played it once, and I remember going like, "Oh my god,
These are hard. I did the
I was
same
like,
thing. I studied
Jesus.
energy drinks one time, and then I was like, not doing that.
Nah. You both did pretty well, right? So this was a back and forth. Weirdly, the first time Emily stumbles is Snapple, which I don't know if she just wasn't expecting it. Like, were you expecting to see iced tea?
No, I didn't
Yeah.
send any of the teas.
Yeah.
No, I think I just lucked out with knowing them just from prior knowledge. And there were some, like the last one that she lost on Buy Boost. Like
Right.
Buy to me is like a juice, not like an energy drink. So those were
Right.
some that were a little bit tricky.
Yeah.
And I think it's just like luck of the draw because Stumptown, like I wouldn't even think, but then Starbucks was in there too.
Yeah,
But also,
I know.
to be
but the-
fair, you're so locked into studying energy drinks that when they throw a tea, even if you drink Snapple every day
Right.
of your life, if you're so locked into energy drinks and you see a Snapple, like how are you supposed to get out of that locked in mode and be like, let's think tea now? It's tea time.
Yeah.
Like,
The other
that's just
thing is
crazy.
because the producers are going to say we gave you the prompts, energy drinks and caffeinated beverages, but what is the category called? The category is called energy
Yeah, it's
drinks.
called
You're
energy
not
drinks.
studying caffeine. Even if you
Carbonated.
see that prompt, you're not studying Snapple bottles and Pure Leaf and all that. It's like what? No.
And
it's
also
called
some of
energy
these
drinks.
some of these prompts are like they say things that don't factor in, right? Like we said this with Lisa Frank. They were like, and character names, and then it's like they don't have any character
They
names.
don't-
So like
Yeah.
the prompts are
Yeah.
not foolproof at all.
Yeah. If you
Um,
live by the prompt, you're going to die by the prompt.
I like that. I like that.
Live by the prompt, die by the prompt. Okay. But anyway, it was a good duel. So you win here. Were you prepared? So at this point, like you said, you hadn't been touched. Going into, let's say even not even this episode, going into the 4th day of filming, right? There's 3 episodes. Did you have a plan of if I get challenged, this is what I'm gonna do? Because the whale, at this point, the whale is already huge. It's that you can get to it if you want. like, did you have an idea of what you wanted to do?
If it was still podcasters, I would have been more apt to go to it because I did study podcasters when it
Okay.
was available. But my biggest thing is after I won, I didn't want crime fighting duos.
Got it.
It was like the biggest thing
Oh,
because it was one that I needed to study, but it was hard because you had to remember both names in the category. And
Yep.
so it's
Yep.
like, I might know one, but not the other. And it's out of all the TV genres, like crime is not necessarily one that I gravitated to naturally. So when I'm not interested in the category, it was harder for me to study and just help retain that information. That's just how I was. So after I won, I knew I wanted to try to go for a category swap versus a time boost. Maybe that was the wrong way to go, but that was knowing
No,
was
no,
in
it's
this
not
kind
the
of
wrong. If you have a category you don't know, you have to play for the category swap. You
Yeah.
you made the right decision. There's don't second guess that. Like that's
Yeah.
crazy. All right, so we'll get into the specifics, but what were you looking at on the board that you wanted that you would have category swapped?
gymnastics.
Dope.
Really?
I am a dancer. I did gymnastics. I did cheer.
Okay.
I love the Olympics. Like those, since there were no other food categories left and no other celebrity categories left, this was what I wanted. And I knew that Marcus, bless his heart, like didn't really understand the game as much. So I feel like
Yeah.
he would
At
have
all.
he would have been fine. Like there would be no bad blood if I took it. And I don't think he would have realized if I took it that he could potentially duel in it again. Like if we were close to
Yeah.
it.
You were
With
close,
you
right?
were.
You would have been touching him. If he got randomized, he could have just
Yeah,
on
because
gymnastics.
if you had beat Frank, whoa, that's the other thing. So if you beat Frank, you could have just challenged gymnastics
Yeah.
and then category swapped something else. Did you think about that?
Did you think about that?
No.
Did you think
Okay.
about that?
No. I think I was, but I don't know. I didn't think that far, but honestly, there weren't that many left that
Yeah,
I
there
felt
weren't.
super, super confident in. So I was just trying to get me to that point. I think if I
Yeah.
got put into a situation where I had to, like fight or flight, baby, let's do it. But if I
Yeah,
Got
control it a little bit, I would rather just get
yeah.
I'm
Well, let's-
assuming if you had beaten Frank in terms of
Frank.
endearment, your third duel, which would have been the last duel of the night, would that have been with Armand from Mattel Toys?
So I thought about that one too, because I'm a buyer in my everyday life. Mattel is one of the accounts that I bought for. I
Right.
used to buy toys. So I felt comfortable there.
Yeah, and he
But-
just got it. He had literally
just got it.
no time to study at all.
Honestly, I think I would have gone junk in the trunk.
And then still gymnastics after.
And then,
And then steal it.
after, yeah.
Okay. So yeah, let's talk about that Frank duel. So terms of endearment, clearly you'd been studying that.
I did. And it was one that I am a nickname person in general. Like I always am, you're a baby, love bug, like all the things. And so that was one I studied prior to coming to the floor. I felt like that one was going to be easy enough that it's colloquial terms, like what people call each other. I think the part where I wasn't thinking is the picture connection. That was
Right.
the hardest part. Like you're the stud master or the stud finder. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
shit.
That was definitely the hardest clue.
The
I think.
flowers. The
Or
flowers.
I guess some of the flowers, if you needed to know specifically what sweet
Yeah, the
pea
flowers.
buttercup.
I got
and
stuck right
Buttercup
away.
was
My wife
Yes.
calls me a stud all the time.
It's the translation between the term and then seeing it in picture form, I think is where my missed, or where I could have
yeah.
studied a little bit
What-
harder. Like, know the terms.
What did you
But
think
just-
you were going to? Because you knew you were going to see pictures. What was in your mind of what it could be?
I have no idea. Like I said,
Okay.
I don't know. But
I mean,
felt
I
out of what was around me, other than junk in the trunk, and I think that's another thing. I felt comfortable there.
Sure.
And I wanted to go where I felt like I wouldn't make a complete fool of myself. Junk in the trunk, looking at it now, Ben and I were super close. He was like my sounding board throughout the entire game. And as much as I should have been more cutthroat and no like alliances or anything, like Ben was my Jonathan and Serge. Like he was
Mm.
my guy. So it's
Yeah.
hard
Yeah.
to make unless I needed to.
Right.
I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I was gonna go there, but I should have.
Yeah. It was one for me too. I looked at the prompt. Prompt says identify the affectionate phrase based on the image. So the other thing is because it said phrase, I wasn't thinking one word. Like dear, when I saw this category played, I was like, that's what it was? That's insane. I was looking up like full on sentences and
Oh.
like fill in the blank. Like
You are my
this is
sunshine.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Too.
yeah. And so I thought it would be sentence, image, fill in the blank. And
Interesting.
seeing it just as it was, just naming the image as often as a homophone, I was like, what? I think I would have gone up there and I would have been so flustered and I would have
What?
been cooked if
There
I had
was-
tried that.
Do you guys remember there was another season in which they did this with like
Oh,
wasn't-
compound words. It was the
compound words?
Yeah, I remember.
It was
that.
there was compound words and it was just and I was like, oh, this is just like a kind of like a picture puzzle that you have to figure
Uh-huh.
out. That and so that's what this reminded me of. And yeah, I think the only way to have really been able to prep for this is if you had anticipated what was going to happen and go, okay, now I'm going to look up terms of endearment and
Connect
go
it to a
and then
photo.
connect it to a photo and be like, wait, sweet pea, like, but even like sweet pea, I would have thought like they were going to show peas and sugar and not necessarily like,
Yeah,
Sugar,
yeah.
exactly.
a flower. Sugar, I think I got sugar plum, but yeah, some of these were tough, man. Like, but
Yeah, I got sugar plum too, but only because at that point I had figured out the category. If
Right,
sugar plum
yeah.
was the first image, I would have been like, "What's happening?"
Totally,
And
yeah.
I would just cried on national TV.
I don't remember if I got Buttercup like the day of filming. But I think maybe I was like flower. The only flower I could think of was Buttercup, but sweet pea. There was no shot. That I don't. What the heck?
I didn't even know Buttercup was a flower.
I know. I was like,
Cook.
can you have the picture of the Powerpuff Girl instead, or something?
Yeah,
exactly.
Oh, that would they did that for Romeo. They showed Leonardo DiCaprio in
That's
my
true.
Baz Luhrmann's Romeo plus Juliet.
That one, my family won't let me live down because my dad's name is Romeo. My
That's
nephew's
hard.
Name is
You're
Romeo.
not thinking. You were
It also-
everything you
it-
saw
It was
was
not head on.
images. Yeah, it wasn't head on. No, that was tough. That was not. You're not like. That was like Hamlet for me. I was like not ready to see it. Like and in a thing where you're going like this, it's so much easier for people who are chilling on the couch
Oh,
who aren't
totally.
guessing every answer. By the way, that's the other thing. By the way, I noticed is like everybody's like, I could have done that. I knew all of those. And I do these watch parties and I watch all these people and they're shouting at the screen, but not everyone's shouting at the same time. And sometimes people
Yeah, yeah.
shout, sometimes somebody says an answer and then they say the answer after them and they're like, yeah, I knew that. And you're like, no, they knew it
Mhm.
and they reminded you of what it was. Like,
Yeah.
anyway.
I know, but I'm happy. Like Frank and I we met on the very first day. Like we went to dinner together on the very first night, and we sat by each other for a little bit. But then it was never like everyone scattered. But it was almost fun to battle someone that you were close with in a way, and I'm like happy for it. not for Serge, but I don't know. I was like happy for him. Like as he's walking up, I'm like clapping him as he's
Yeah.
coming to me. I'm like, let's. So it was
Yeah.
good. So
I love
hey,
that though.
That's how the cookie crumbled.
Yeah. Well, you did awesome. And then, yeah, what did you think about Frank's
Here we go.
decision now that you saw it of going back to the floor? Were you surprised that he did it?
No, I wasn't
Okay.
surprised because I knew he was thinking long game,
Yeah.
and he was super close with like everyone in our little corner because a lot of us weren't eligible to play. We all got very tight. Like we all had our person. He was super close with Valerie. Those two were studied together, a lot of the categories that were near them. So it was just, I knew that he was waiting for something longer. And I knew he was interested in, he was studying the nicknames. He was studying all the state ones. So I think he was waiting for something else to come his way.
Okay, so you weren't exactly surprised he went back to the floor. But what are your thoughts on that actual decision? And we'll start with you, Jasmine.
Everyone has a different intent of how they want to play. If they're playing for the 20K or they're playing for the final. And I think he was always pretty open that he wanted to be there for the long term. So I think with him, especially he inherited crime fighting duos that was not even close to him.
Right.
Probably put him in a position to go back and study a little bit more versus risking. And honestly, I think people were scared of Jonathan. They were scared of you. And I don't think he wanted
That's fair.
to come after, especially they saw how they've seen you play. So they know you're quick and they know that you're super knowledgeable in a lot of things.
Frank
I
was
think
quick.
that's intimidating. Is just the quickness. I think that
It's like Jonathan is just a man. Like it's like y'all like the other thing is
man.
I'm not saying you have to be a mathematician. That's bad math. Like Frank playing for 250, you got a 1 in 32 shot. Playing for 20, you got a 1 in 2 shot. You take all of everything else out. Like even, and I'm not saying challenge a category nothing in. Keep in mind, it's book adaptations for an English teacher.
He knows books.
He knows books, but does he know
the films?
The film,
maybe not. And
that's what I would
that's
think.
fair.
Yeah, maybe not, but I'm like, you know what you do in English class a lot? Watch movies.
I was gonna say, I was like if it wasn't for English class, I would never have watched the film of like Ordinary People or
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there are certain films that you're like, I only watch this in class. Like Ethan Frome. Like I wouldn't have watched Ethan Frome on my own. I watched that because we were like, we read the book and they were like, hey, why don't we put this movie on? Because we don't have to do anything today.
Yeah. Same with The Crucible with what Demi Moore, right? Like that. I was
Remains of the Day. Remains of the Day. We watched that in class. I was like, that's a movie I would never watch if I would.
Yes.
Listen, I love Frank, and I just want to preface this by saying he's one of my favorite people from the show. We've kept in contact. I love this man. I seriously do. That was a huge mistake, though. Because I know Frank, and I know he's an intelligent dude, man. This guy is so smart, and he reads probably more than me, you, and Jasmine combined. I'll leave Luke out of this because I know he's a real nerd, but that man reads a lot, dude. He reads a lot. He is incredibly intelligent, and he's an English teacher. And I'm not saying he goes out there and he beats you, but man.
He's got
definitely worth a try, I think. But you know what? Look, at the end of the day, people, and again, I go back to this and like, we'll ask you, Jasmine, officially, like, what do you think the breakdown is of winning money on the floor? Like, and this is the other thing. If you're looking at, like, let's say 20K, what do you think the breakdown is between luck, knowledge, strategy, and mental fortitude?
I think luck is the biggest chunk because, like I said, I was ineligible to play the entire game until I got chosen to duel. So you had no control of timing. So honestly, that's like 50%. And then I think then 30 would probably be your knowledge because whatever you're going to go against. So that's what, 80? 10 for the other two, fortitude and whatever the last
strategy.
Yeah. Because it's all about, I think as anything, it's timing.
Timing.
I mean, at this point, that's been the most popular answer. I'm starting to lean that breakdown is in fact science.
So and this is my thing is that when people think, it's interesting because I could argue this both ways. If you think most of this game is about luck, then you go, then I'll just take my chance of winning the 250. Like, if it's just about luck, then why am I going to try for 20 when I can just try my luck at the 250? Because that's more money.
But you got to know math too.
And that's the other breakdown of it is like, okay, but if it's 50%, if you do believe it's 50% luck to win 20K, then why would you go 50% luck to win 20K when I think everyone would agree it's even bigger luck to win 250, and that's more like 80% or 90%. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah. I guess I am thinking of the breakdown of winning the 20K because Frank, to think if you pulled Frank from that moment in time and quizzed him on these stats and he said most of this is luck, then it's like, if you really believe that, then you got to go for the 20K, my guy. Like, what are you doing? Like, because your luck is certainly better.
You think if he believed that winning the 20K was actually more about knowledge, like if he felt like, I think this duel will be about knowledge, and I feel like I'm going to lose. Like, I don't think I have more knowledge than this person. Whereas, who knows, if I go back to the floor, yes, it's all about luck, but maybe I'm the lucky one.
Yeah,
Ladder.
that's valid.
I will say this. Obviously, I was happy he didn't go after me because it wound up somebody gets randomized who's not near me, and so then I get the 20K again. But I also was like, I don't want crime fighting duos to be played. Like, that's one of the last remaining film categories left.
That's true. Yeah.
And so I was happy it was still on the board, and now on the board with somebody who hadn't been studying it
Inherited it.
probably as hard as Emily was.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then Junk in the Trunk gets played, and it's exactly what everybody thinks it is. It's just random stuff in a trunk of a car.
Yeah.
One
I
thing a
will
lot of
say
people
that-
don't know about Haley is she was an alternate for season 5.
No, she
didn't-
was supposed to be on season 5.
That's what I meant. I
Right.
apologize. She was meant to be on season 5, and we pulled her in as a season 4 alternate. So fishing was not her category to begin with. It was Ben's. No, who was it?
Yeah.
Benny's.
Benny's.
Benny. He had to leave us after episode 1, I believe.
Or episode
So
1
she-
was done.
Yeah,
I think so.
in
yeah.
the middle
You're
of
right.
it. Yeah,
So Haley did get handed a shorter stick, I guess you can say. So
Very
just to
much so.
come to her, just to be fair to her, she wasn't aware she would be on season 4. She didn't know the layout. She wasn't given prompts the way the rest of us were. She came in after episode 1 and said, "Hey, you got fishing, go handle." So to be fair to Haley, she wasn't fully in the same state of mind that we were.
It's tough.
Just I wanted to, yeah, it was tough. It was tough.
it was tough. She wound up not having to duel fishing. She got randomized, and she didn't have to play those first few days, which
days.
is like I wonder if she was able to settle in a little bit. And then Junk in the Trunk was. This is like, I feel like this is a category that if you're next to, no matter who you are, that's probably one you're going after. It's one that
Absolutely.
can't really
Mhm.
study outside of maybe
Yeah.
making sure all the like car stuff that one
Tools.
could be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Potential car tools. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, even electric vehicle cable. I
Yeah.
was like, that looks like a hose. Like
I-
that was.
Yeah. And the only reason I know what that looks like is because I've borrowed a friend's car who
Yeah,
has
I
an
got
EV.
that.
Who has it? But if you've never driven an EV or
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Yeah, you won't use it.
you won't use it, you don't
Yeah.
know it. How why would you?
That's Ben's argument with stroller. He's like, I don't have kids. I'm not around kids, so I don't know what it is.
That's a
I
lesson.
also-
That's a
if-
lesson.
If you haven't used a stroller
No
like
kids
that,
either.
you wouldn't ever know that they collapse that way. Like that stroller was not. It was not bounced out and ready to
Sure,
stroll
sure.
a kid around. That was a compacted stroller.
It was.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah,
I guess
It
my
makes
man-
sympathy for me.
Sergio,
yeah.
Sergio, you didn't know Michelle Obama. Come on now.
No,
You're gonna
I knew.
understand
I
about
got
it.
Michelle Obama. I got Michelle Obama.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I didn't
Sorry.
know
Sorry.
Jack
Conan
Shepherd,
O'Brien.
okay?
You didn't know Dak
Come
Shepard,
on,
Dak
Conan,
Shepard.
Conan O'Brien, Mark
Mhm.
Maron, no,
Sean Hayes.
Sean Hayes,
Hey, I
Yeah.
just feel
Tucker-
so- that was
Tucker
not
Carl-
even-
Carlson.
Tucker Carlson.
Tucker
Someone hurt
Carlson.
me. All right.
Literally.
Okay, thank you for that, guys.
I won't bring too much politics into it, but when passed on Tucker Carlson, my sister goes, "No, that's okay." She's like, "Good riddance."
Here's the thing.
Sure.
Several people, even before I became the whales, I feel like, but especially after I became the whale, several people tested me on podcasters, and I would never say like. I was always like, I'm not gonna like just start saying names, but people would go like, "Oh, so do you listen to a lot of like what do you whatever?" They're trying to gauge my information. I just be like, "Yeah, look." I'm like, it's a really hard category because I obviously listen to a lot of podcasts, but it's not just going to be the podcasts I listen to. You have comedy, you have sports, you have politics, you have the crime junket stuff, you have things that are popular
Movies.
that are just movies, you have reality show recap podcasts, you know?
Podcasts. Yeah.
You have the news podcast, whatever. All I said was like all the different categories, and people were like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, you know how I've been feeling since the day I got this category,
Yeah.
and I've only had a week to study, but I have been studying because I'm as afraid of it as you are. It is infinite
Broad.
amount of people. It is very
Yeah.
broad. So Tucker Carlson, for sure, I was like, I knew about, like, there were several of those conservative host podcasts that I was like, I got to make sure I know these people's names. Anyway, people were
Thank you.
afraid about people were afraid that Charlie Kirk might have, and he could have. I wonder if he was deeper into that. We never.
Oh,
And I wonder
that
what
would
would
have
have
been.
happened if he did pop up. Anyway,
He-
Sergio
What?
wouldn't have known him.
Yeah, I would have. Come on, man. I wouldn't have. Maybe I wouldn't have.
yeah, this is-
Uh,
yeah. Jasmine, thank you so much for doing this. I feel, yeah. Is there anything else we wanna you
I
want?
do. I
mean,
want to say real quick, going up there and staying on the floor was really cool to watch. You smashed the first category. I'm really close with Emily, so I hate you a little bit for taking her out, but you never wavered. You were tenacious the whole time. So I appreciated watching that. If anybody's going to take Emily out, I'm glad it was you. But I also want to give a quick shout out to your husband. My gosh, that man is different. And just shout out to him. Listen, I'm telling you, Luke, you better stop playing, man. That man is handsome. And I don't know how Jasmine scored it, but shout out to him. So I just wanted to say that. But my only question,
Jasmine, I'm not sure how you did that. Your husband's way out of your league, but
Yes, I'm
glad you
sorry.
got on
Hey,
TV.
Jasmine's my sister, so I'm going to talk a lot of smack to her. But yeah, he's way out of your league. But my one question for you, Jasmine, is any regrets? Do you have any regrets on the show, being on the show, anything?
No, and I think that's funny because my closing interviews lasted about 5 minutes because I was so happy at the end. I think the staff is ready for us to have emotions and to debrief, and they're all ready for that. And they kept asking me like, "Are you okay? Are you fine?" And I was like, "This is great." I was like, "This is so much fun." I got to play. I got to duel in my own category. Had a couple confessionals talking about Jonathan. Talked about I'm in the background doing all my hand motions for all the things. So I don't know. No regrets. It was so much fun. So
You
much
had the
Heck
best commentary of the season. Production obviously noticed that you were the brightest energy when it came to the little quips on the side. I mean, obviously they used your interview, right? You brought a lot of colorful commentary to the season, and that's something you can hold your head up high because that was
Yeah.
good to see.
I will be that background for anything you need to. It's fun.
Let's go.
Sweet.
So,
Well, yeah. And now we're heading into episode 9. It will come out for a couple weeks, and there is no preparation for me. This is the middle of a 3-episode day. Yeah. There is no thinking, there's no planning or strategizing. It was confessionals.
Quick dinner, and then you fill the next one.
Literally,
Did
when
you eat dinner?
no, not really, because basically what happened was I went back to the holding. By the time I was done with confessionals and I got back to the holding room, they were like, "All right, everybody, we're heading back to the studio." And I was like, "I didn't eat," and they were like, "Yeah, try to eat
Good
quick."
luck.
And then I
And
grabbed
just
some
so everybody-
food.
Just so everybody understands, like we're filming multiple episodes a day, and because the production really liked the storyline that me and Jonathan were giving them, a lot of people don't know this, but it took away from all of my study time that day, and it took all of Jonathan's study time away. Either you really do put yourself in a rough spot when production wants to get more out of you. And because me and Jonathan were really pushing that storyline, production was like, "Yo, we need you guys. If you're not on the floor, we need you in the interview rooms giving us content." So it really robbed me of any study time, but more so someone like Jonathan, who definitely has to get some study time in, got none whatsoever. Maybe you got a couple minutes and I don't know, but after episode 8, I
Yeah,
remember thinking to
I'll say
myself,
5.
dude, we were in those interview rooms for an hour. And the prep before the interview rooms was like 30, 45 minutes. So if we got 2 hours to ourselves, makeup, wardrobe, interviews, and then prep. That's where it all went. So there was just no time to study for that 4th day. So something I want people to understand as to why I didn't study and why maybe Jonathan's not getting his study time in. And it's because of that. There's a lot of nuances that people at home don't really see, but there's a lot going on behind the scenes.
All right, we'll see what happens.
we'll see it
what happens.
after Thanksgiving.
After
Gotta take a
Thanksgiving.
little break.
Jasmine,
It's going to
thank
be,
you.
yeah.
And Jasmine, tell
Me.
your husband I said hello.
Come to Vegas. Come to Vegas for the finale. He'll be there.
Oh, okay.
You guys can make out.
Whoa,
And on that note, peace.
Goodbye.
Bye.